So it would be, they would find jurors who are sympathetic to the women rather than the famous face at the defendant's table. So trial attorneys often consult with jury experts to help determine juror profiles. Each state guidelines differ. And of course, but attorneys who interview jurors for such a high-profile case are still expected to observe all standard trial guidelines. So, so the jurors, they're going to try to see if they get jurors that are more sympathetic to the women than they are to a famous client. Says, for example, they are generally given a certain number of objections as they seek to eliminate unfavorable jurors. Ideally, each side would want to build a jury with people who are willing to set aside their personal biases to consider the evidence being presented. So no matter how diligently prosecutors and defense attorneys work to create a fair and impartial jury, the celebrity factor and ongoing news saturation about the shocking allegations are bound to have an impact, as are their other issues, like the public's increasing awareness about movements like Me Too and even the Mute R. Kelly movement. So, you know, they want to give him a fair trial. He does deserve a fair trial, you know, that's fair. Like we say, innocent until proven guilty, right? Right. By the court of law. Because in the streets, he's already guilty. That's done. But in the court of law, he's innocent until proven guilty. So they're going to try to get a fair jury to deal with the trial. And, keep in mind that while Cosby's jury was unable to come to a verdict in his first trial, in the post-Weinstein and Me Too atmosphere, the jury in a retrial found him guilty within 2 days. So he went to trial. They weren't sure about it. It took them 2 days to come back. And then they found him guilty. There you have it. So, with R. Kelly's case, I don't know. I think it might last a little longer because there's so much more evidence to present than in the child pornography case, because the child pornography case was just mainly witnesses' testimonies and the tape. Like, that was basically it. But this time around, we have his FaceTime records, his Apple computer records, his traveling records, his tour records, his IRS records, his bank records. They have his Uber receipts. They have text messages between the girls and all that. Like, they literally took his phone and examined his phone. They took his cameras out of his house and examined his cameras. They took his computer and examined it. They have so much stuff built up against him. He's not getting away with a lot of the stuff. He's not. He's not. It's too much evidence. Too much evidence. So the next question that's on everybody's mind is, are more women expected to come forward with new accusations? And then it says that the state's attorney's office in Chicago has confirmed that during the past year, it has received many inquiries about the case against Kelly. As more indictments are made, it's not unusual for more accusers to come forward with claims. This seems to be what happened with the latest allegations in Minnesota, because we all know that Kim Foxx came out in a news conference and she asked for help from the people. If anybody has anything they need to add, they need to say about R. Kelly, any accusers that need to come forward. They would be helping out the case a great deal. And that's where that came about. For example, Danielle Williams said she had a relationship with Kelly for 6 years, starting when she was 16. She recounted being approached by the singer's business manager in a Chicago restaurant in 1998. And she claims that Kelly paid her for sex, asked her to talk like a baby, and locked her in a hotel room for 3 days. But eventually lost interest in her when she got mature. I know that he's a pedophile, she said. Several other women have also gone public, including Rogers, who claimed that Kelly subjected her to cruel and humiliating sexual experiences during their 1-year relationship, and later tried to intimidate her, as we know, for her not to go to the police. And then another woman that we know is Kitty Jones also claimed the singer abused her and forced her into sexual situations with other women. Now, you know, they say forced. Not meaning he literally took a gun to their heads and say, listen, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill you. Like, he didn't do that. He just coerced them. He convinced them. He manipulated them. He persuaded them. He enticed them. That's where that comes from. Next question that we all want to know is, how has Kelly responded to the charges? Well, he hasn't responded too well, as we know, right? Kelly denies all allegations against him. We already know that. Like, he's deny. But most recently, his lawyer suggested that the women and girls coming forward with allegations against him are disgruntled groupies. And they describe the accusers as groupies that sought out Robert's attention, even fought each other for it. And they voluntarily contacted him and came to his shows. And they were very excited to be with him. Oh my God. Let me, okay. This is like when I was talking about with my fans and groupies situation. You know, fans are fans. We all go to see the star that we want to see, the entertainer in action, in person, live, in concert, because we like the person, we appreciate their music, we want to support them, we're there for them. That's what fans do. Groupies, on the other term, groupies actually go state to state on their own. Listen to me carefully now. On their own, whether they go in a group or whether they go by themselves, they travel from state to state to state to state. Even maybe if they wanted to, all around the world, to follow their favorite entertainer, their idol, their mentor, their, you know, they're fans. And groupies are the ones that travel from state to state, following the person, hawking them, trying to get backstage passes every time they can, sleeping with rock stars and entertainers and doing whatever just to be in the circle. Just to say, I slept with that man. I was with that man. None of these girls have done that. He's the one who sought out the girls. He's the one who said, here, my number. He's the one who said, give this girl my number. Give her my number. Oh, tell this girl that if she can meet me, we'll let her get backstage passes. I'll talk to her over there. He's the one that's making the moves, not these girls. They're too shy. They were in a setting where they were comfortable, enjoying themselves, having a good time. Then they actually got the number. Then they decided to call. And now they're talking to a superstar. And they're super excited. And now he's like, I want to meet you. Can you hang out with me? He coerces them to leave their homes. They leave their homes. He's the Pied Piper. Okay? Let's just remember that. He's the Pied Piper. So he's the one who is searching for these girls. These girls are not searching for him. These girls are not groupies. So let's stop using that term because they're not groupies. Another way that he responded to his charges was that during the heated interview with Gayle King, he lashed out saying, stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my fucking life. He lashed out at the allegations. At one point, standing up and screaming at Gayle and the camera before being led away by a publicist. We all know that's Mr. Johnson with the J, like the baby powder, right? Okay. So, then he's like, forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me, he said. Hate me if you want to. Love me if you want. But just use your common sense. How stupid would it be for me when my crazy past, his way past, right? That's what he said. Crazy past and what I've been through. Oh, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls against their will and chain them up in my basement and like, Kelly, listen, stop it. You're an actor and a singer. How about that? Then last year, he also released a statement equating the allegations to the public lynching, saying R. Kelly's music is part of American and African American culture that should never and will never be silenced. Since America was born, black men and women have been lynched for having sex or for being accused of it. We will vigorously resist this attempted public lynching of a black man who has made extraordinary contributions to our culture. Okay. What has he done really for the culture? What? I want to know. Somebody please drop some comments down below and let me know exactly what has he done. What has he done? Because the only thing I can see that he's done for the culture was make baby music and talk about underage girls and sexcapades. That's all he did for me. Like that's all he did for the culture. Okay, yes, he made I Believe I Can Fly. Yes, he made I Wish. Yes, he did The Step in the Name of the Love. Yes, he did these ballads. Yes, he did. But it was all for deflection. Deflect, deflect, deflect. Yeah, so that's what he did.